Hi wrestling fans, thanks for clicking on the dreaded D-Rose report. Isn't that scary? Man! Hey, after confirming negotiations with World Wrestling Entertainment, Bill Goldberg has given us a little bit more insight on what his goals are with WWE. And he says on his Twitter account, this is out of the question for, is it out of the questions for me to have one more match? Goldberg said on his Twitter, the answer is no. My son has never seen me wrestle, and I'd love to see his reaction to me in the ring. Goldberg originally made it known that he had been in negotiations with WWE Wednesday on his Twitter account. Goldberg commented on the negotiations and TNA's lack of interest in bringing him in. Wednesday, Goldberg mentioned that his son is the main reason he is open to a contract with WWE. Don't blame him. Anyway, JR commented on negotiations, giving a little more detail as to what negotiations could possibly mean. JR says at one point, of course, he handled talent relations and new contracts and extensions on contracts, etc. Anyway, he says there's a great, he has a great deal of knowledge of what the options Goldberg has in terms of a contract. One, if a deal is reached, deal could possibly and most likely be for gaming rights, merchandise, of course, and the possibility of in-ring return. As of press time, no deal's been made about Goldberg. He's made it clear, though, that he's very interested in a deal, but what the deal brings, we'll have to wait and see. F4WOnline.com says, as of yesterday, there's still thousands of tickets left for Sunday's WrestleMania 26 pay-per-view in Arizona. WWE is likely going to be papering the event this weekend. If you're out and around and you see some paper, go pick it up. It might be a ticket. Anyway, come Sunday. Anyway, the University of Stadium will be full or very close to it by the time they get done with it. Now let's get started again, since somebody came in and interrupted. You didn't know that, did you? Randy Orton was in New Orleans this past week working on WWE studio movie Big Red. Story about chewing gum. The principal photographer on the movie wrapped on March 19th, so the photography's all done, I guess. So the new interview with NOLA.com noted that Orton had to cover up his tattoos with makeup for the movie that also stars Ed Harris. Rock's got to do that all the time. I don't know if he regrets, doing all that ink or not. But anyway, regarding his wrestling and acting, Orton said, I'll always, now, I mentioned The Rock, remember this. Orton says, I'll always be a WWE wrestler first and foremost, but I love movies, I respect acting side of things, and if it's something I'm good at, then I want to do it. The 96-year-old wife of gorgeous George, Betty Wagner, will be traveling by bus instead of doing a flight from her home in the upper Midwest to Arizona this weekend. As noted before, she's going to be accepting the honor for her late husband. You know why they call dead people late husbands or late so-and-so? Because they're always late. They're never going to be there on time, I guess. The following WWE superstars will be making their WrestleMania debuts this Sunday in Arizona. These are people that have never been at WrestleMania. R-Truth, Jack Swagger, Cody Rhodes, Ted DiBiase, The Miz, Evan Bourne, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Serena. While The Miz did defend WWE tag titles with John Morrison at last year's WrestleMania, the match ended up being a DVD extra, though. And this year's match will be the TV debut. To get technical about it. Nickelodeon is producing a new film, Fred the Movie. It's based on a kid who became popular on YouTube. WWE star John Cena will be starring in the movie as Fred's father, Mr. Figglehorn. The movie set to premiere on Nickelodeon sometime later this year. There's some highlights I wanted to let you know about from the Shawn Michaels interview from the Miami Herald. He says, how much will he and The Undertaker top last year's match? He says, absolutely no idea. That's the question I get every year. How are you going to follow up last year? Well, That's what they pay me to do. So the other question was how physical last year's match ended up, as if his body needed a break. He says, well, it's very physical. He said, and yes, my body did need a break. He said, heck, my body needs a break every time I get out of a match, for heaven's sake. He said, unfortunately, or fortunately, to take the summer off last year, I think it was a good call. So how's his body felt about the past year? He said, it's doing okay. He said, one downside of taking some time off when you come back is a little tougher to get going again. Your body gets used to going, you know, getting tossed around a bit. And then it's nice to jump back into the deep end, and it's a bit of a shock to begin with. And then obviously the body does what it does. It gets toughened up and ready to do what it's built to do. Of course, some of the stuff they do is, man, the body's not built to do that. And on The Undertaker's entrance at WrestleMania 26 compared to last year, he says, I'm sure he'll have some kind of special interest, but I think this one is taking a different tone this year. So there's more finality, he says, I think, with this one, for both of us. He says, I think this one will be more focused on the match, and evidently will be more of a difference in character, I guess, what he's talking about. F4WOnline.com says Steve Austin noted on his Twitter account that he had dinner the other night with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's still following Heyman around after all these years. Internally, WWE officials predicting that this Sunday's WrestleMania will be the single most profitable event in the history of the company, which I thought it was every year anyway. WWE has signed Florida model Brittany Bede to a developmental deal as a ring announcer. Bede is now using the name Jamie Keys and worked very briefly for TNA this last year as the winner of Kevin Nash's Search for a Ballet. Well, that didn't last very long. Actor Clark Duke said on G4's Attack of the Show this week that he would be attending WrestleMania 26 this Sunday. Duke and his Hot Tub Time Machine co-star will be hosting Raw the next night. Chris Jericho was asked in an interview on fanhouse.com about his shot at the Twitter account against TNA and how they handled Rob Van Dam's debut against Sting. Jericho said, I didn't take a shot at it. It just baffled me, you know, why they would let happen. Rob's one of the biggest stars in the last 10 years of wrestling, and only having him with 5 seconds in the crowd, he said, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I better get the heck off here. I don't know if I'm about out of time or not, but before somebody else walks in, I'll be back on here tomorrow, I hope. I'll finish up this story maybe about RVD. Or if I got some news about some goofy stuff that went on, I'll talk about that too. Hey!